I was sitting in a cracked vinyl booth at a roadside diner, staring at my resume like it was a joke. No job, no family, no future. I slid that paper under the salt shaker, paid with my last few dollars, and 4 hours later, a helicopter landed outside. The man who stepped out said 5 words that shattered everything I thought I knew. "I'm your grandfather, and I'm here to help. If you've ever been underestimated, discarded, or made to feel invisible, subscribe right now. Like this video, because this isn't just a revenge story. It's about justice arriving when you least expect it. Let's get into it." By the time I walked into that diner, my body was running on adrenaline and despair. My heels were broken, my phone was dead, and the job I had moved 3 states for, gone. That morning, my boss had leaned back in his leather chair, fingers steepled, smiling like he was doing me a favor. "Budget cuts," he said. Nothing personal, but it was personal. He'd hired his nephew the same day he fired me. I'd trained that kid, corrected his mistakes, covered for him. Now I was being escorted out by security while he avoided my eyes. I remember the elevator ride down, how my hands wouldn't stop shaking, how my throat felt tight, like I was swallowing glass. No severance, no explanation, just a cardboard box and a forced smile. And when I called my mother for comfort, she sighed. "Well," she said, "maybe this is a sign you should stop chasing these big dreams." That was the moment something in me cracked, because my mother had always said that. When I got into college, when I started my career, when I refused to settle, and I realized something terrifying. I had no safety net, no one coming to save me. So I drove, no destination, just away, until my gas light came on and I pulled into the first place. I saw a lonely diner off the highway, buzzing fluorescent lights, smell of burnt coffee and grease. I ordered the cheapest thing on the menu and spread my resume out on the table. 4 pages. Years of effort. Achievements no one cared about. I stared at it until the words blurred. Then I laughed. A quiet, broken laugh that startled even me. What was I doing? No one was hiring. No one was looking for me. And even if they were, I didn't have the strength left to beg. When the waitress came to refill my coffee, I made a decision that felt final. I folded the resume once, then twice, and slid it under the salt shaker. A stupid, symbolic gesture, like leaving a message in a bottle. I paid. I walked out, and I told myself, that's it. This chapter is over. I was sitting in my car, engine off, when I heard it. A distant thud, thud, thud. At first, I thought it was traffic. Then the windows started rattling. People stepped out of the diner, shielding their eyes, pointing. And that's when I saw it. A black helicopter descending into the empty lot across the road. My first thought, I've officially lost it. But then the helicopter landed. The rotors slowed, and a man stepped out, tall, silver-haired, wearing a tailored coat that looked wildly out of place next to pickup trucks and potholes. He scanned the area, then his eyes locked onto me. Directly, my stomach dropped. He walked toward my car, slow and deliberate, flanked by another man in a suit. He stopped a few feet away and smiled, not warm, not cold, calculated. "Are you Emily Hart?" he asked. My pulse hammered. "Yes." He exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for years. "I'm Charles Whitmore," he said, then paused. "I'm your grandfather." I laughed. I actually laughed, because it sounded insane. "My grandfather died before I was born," I said. "That's what your mother was told," he replied calmly. He explained everything right there in the parking lot. How my grandmother had been pressured to cut him off. How money, pride, and family politics had erased him from our lives. How he'd spent decades building an empire while watching from afar. "And you?" he said, eyes sharp. "You left your resume in a diner." My blood ran cold. "The waitress found it," he continued. "She recognized the company name." My company. Turns out, I'd applied to one of his subsidiaries years ago. Didn't get the job, but he remembered the name. And when he saw my resume again creased, abandoned, it wasn't desperation he saw. It was resilience. "I've been looking for you," he said quietly. Within hours, my life pivoted. I didn't fully trust him, but desperation makes you brave. He put me up in a hotel that night. Not luxury, comfort. The next morning, he asked one question. "Who hurt you?" And for the first time, I told the truth. About my boss, about the nepotism, about the years of being overlooked. He listened without interrupting. Then he smiled. "Good," he said. "Let's fix that." What I didn't know. My former company was about to enter a critical acquisition phase. And my grandfather? He was the silent majority investor. Over the next 2 weeks, I watched from the shadows as everything unraveled. Audits, compliance checks, leadership reviews, the nepotism documented, the wrongful termination flagged, the financial shortcuts exposed. I wasn't screaming. I wasn't demanding revenge. I was watching accountability do its work. The day of the board meeting, my grandfather invited me along. I wore a simple black blazer, nothing flashy. When I walked into that room, my former boss froze. His nephew went pale. Charles Whitmore took the head seat. Effective immediately, he announced, "Leadership is being restructured." My boss tried to speak, failed, and Charles continued, turning to me. "I'd like to introduce our new director of operations." Every eye turned. I met my former boss's gaze, and for the first time, he understood. No yelling, no insults, just a quiet, devastating realization that he had misjudged me completely. I thought my life ended in a diner booth, but sometimes rock bottom is just a place where the truth finally finds you. Justice doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes, it arrives by helicopter. If this story hit you, like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who's been underestimated. And tell me in the comments, what's the most unexpected moment that changed your life? Because sometimes, the ending you deserve is already on its way.